Hello, this is Bill Webb, aka Billy Indiana. Today I'm going to count down the top games of 2021 that I was able to play, at least in my opinion. I played 25 different 2021 board game releases over the last year, and I'm going to rank what I would consider to be my 10 favorite from 10 to 1. So if you're curious to see how I ranked them, stay tuned. So let me start with my honorable mentions before I jump into the list, and the four games I'm going to mention are in this category for a variety of reasons. The first one is Cartographer's Heroes, and this is actually the collector's edition, which has Cartographer's Heroes in it, along with the extra map packs as an expansion to it or add-ons to that Kickstarter project. Some people wouldn't consider this a 2021 release because it's so much like the original Cartographer's game, and so I decided I didn't really want to put it in my top 10 as much as I do love it. So it is a game that I really enjoy, and it might have made my top 10 had it not been kind of in this gray area of is it really a 2021 release or not. The next two are in this category of honorable mention for a different reason. They're games that I've only had a chance to play once because I don't own them, and I've only been able to play them with my board game group. And so haven't had a chance to read through the rules or really dig into them. And these two games are one, Embarcadero. Really love this game. It's a really creative game about placing these containers along the harbors in the San Francisco Bay and in the Embarcadero era. And so really enjoyed it, but again, having only had a chance to play it once, didn't really want to put it in my top 10. And another one just in that same category is Furnace. Furnace is a terrific engine building game. I really enjoyed it, but again, only had one chance to play it. Has a really unique bidding mechanism that I thought was really terrific. So two great games that I didn't want to put in my top 10, not because they don't maybe deserve it, but I just haven't had a chance to dig into them quite enough yet to put them up that high. The last one is one that I have played a lot, but again, don't own, and I've only been able to play it solo and online because I don't think it's available in the US yet, and that is Explorers. It's by Ravensburger, and it's a Phil Walker Harding game, and I do really like it, and I have played it a couple dozen times online, but because I haven't played the physical version, and I know that's probably going to be significantly different than this solo online adaptation, I don't really feel comfortable putting that in my top 10 either. So those are four great games that if you have a chance to play them, I highly recommend them, but they've been excluded from my list for other reasons. Now there are 11 other games that were 2021 releases that I did play. Many of them I did enjoy, but they just didn't crack the top 10. So I'm going to put my list right here on the side of the other games that I played in 2021 so you can see which ones I have listed, and you can tell me whether or not you think they should have made the top 10 or they're in your top 10, I guess, because it's just a subjective list of what we like best personally. And then I'm also going to list down below the other 50 or so games that I wish I would have played, and I'll be putting together a video pretty soon about the top games from 2021 that I really want to play but haven't had a chance to yet. All right, with no further ado, let's jump into the top 10. And number 10 is a game that is from a quite well-known publisher, and it's a game that I've really enjoyed this year and actually have reviewed, and that is Red Rising. Red Rising is by Stonemaier Games and created by Jamie Stegmaier and Alexander Schmidt. Terrific game if you like the fantasy realms type of point building, card collecting, kind of a specified set collection sort of game. I read the books because of this game and really enjoyed the books, and after having read the books and then playing this game, and I also enjoyed Fantasy Realms before I had a chance to even play this one is my number 10 game of 2021. All right, now let's move on to number 9. Number 9 is a game by Off the Page Games. It is Mind Management. This is a hidden movement game, and it was my first experience playing a hidden movement game. And it really blew my mind. It was an incredible experience, both being the person being chased and also being the chasers. Really loved this game. Such a clever design, and the production of this game is insane. Everywhere you look on the box, in the box, on the cards, on the components, you find little hidden messages and just hilarious little things to read. This game is one that I've only played a few times, but it's really made such an impression that I know this is going to get a lot of plays, and I'm looking forward to getting into those mechanisms that allow us to expand the shift mechanisms that's included in this game. I think that's a really unique way of making the game expandable and also balancing it. So really excited about playing this more and more in the coming year. All right, let's get to number 8. Number 8 is the most recently played game, and this one is Unforgiven, the Lincoln Assassination Trial by Tom Butler and Green Feet Games. This is a two-player game that's very reminiscent of Seven Wonders Duel. It's got kind of a pyramid drafting of cards like Seven Wonders Duel. It's got a track where you're shifting the scales of justice up and down from guilty to innocent, kind of like the military track in Seven Wonders Duel. But then it's got a really deep theme of this trial, and you're trying to lay out your case, basically, your argument in the case. And one person plays the defense, person plays the prosecution, and you can either win by pulling those scales of justice all the way from guilty to innocent or vice versa. You can also win by convincing 4 jurors that your argument is the best. Or if the trial goes all the way to the end and you haven't reached either one of those quick instant win modes, then you count up trial points to see who in the end had the best argument. So I played this a couple times with my wife. Really enjoy this game. One limitation is it is a 2-player only game, and so for us that's not a big deal because we play 2-player most of the time. And I actually think I do enjoy this better than Seven Wonders Duel as much as I like Seven Wonders Duel. So Unforgiven, a really great one. If you have a chance, check it out. All right, number 7 is one called Lions of Lydia, and Lions of Lydia is by Johnny Pack and Bellwether Games. This is a very unique kind of a bag building, not so much bag building, but bag management. You only ever have 4 tokens in the bag, but you're managing which of the colors of tokens you have or little meeples you have in the bag. And then you're deciding where to place them. It's a very nice engine building game. It has 8 modules in it, which we barely scratched the surface on, but just the base game alone really made a big impression on me. I love this game. It's also a pretty quick game to play, and that's really a sweet spot for us. One where we can get it to the table, play it in 30 minutes on a night when we maybe have homework or things to get done for school, but we really want to play a game. This one fits that nicely. I think it's got a nice level of complexity where it's pretty easy to teach, pretty easy to learn, but there's enough thinkiness and enough kind of puzzling out how you can best use your meeples and best build your bag and maximize your points. Really is a nice game in terms of my gaming style. So number 7, Lions of Lydia. Number 6, another one that we've just recently played, and this is one that my son absolutely loved, but my wife and I really enjoyed it as well. Roll Camera. This is by Keen Bean Games, and Malachi Ray Rimpin is the creator. And this one you're building a movie based on the script and scenes that come up randomly. And you have problems that are constantly arising, and you have to call production meetings to try to figure out how you're going to overcome those problems. And you can hire interns to manipulate the dice, but then they give you additional problems. I mean, you know, those interns, they can be a headache. It's just hilarious. And then the movie that you make, whether you finish it or not, you're going to have a rating on that movie, and it's going to be somewhere between so bad it's great or cinematic masterpiece. And if you can reach either of the ends, then you are a winner of this cooperative game. Really clever, really cute design. We had a blast playing this and creating some movies. We've only played it normal and easy mode so far. We haven't really pushed ourselves. There's also a mini expansion in the box that gives you these different production companies that can make it tougher. It was pretty tough to begin with, even at normal mode. So I'm curious, though, as we continue to play and get a little bit better at it and understanding the best ways to maximize our efforts in this game, curious to see if we can maybe try some harder levels and even try that mini expansion later. I also did back the B-movie expansion on Kickstarter this year, so we're anxious to get that here in 2022 and add it into this game. So Roll Camera, number 6 on our top games of 2021. Now we get into the top 5. Number 5 is Sleeping Gods. Sleeping Gods is a game by Red Raven Games. It's a Ryan Lockett game. Huge box, lots of detail in here. It's a cooperative game where you're exploring all over. You're trying to fulfill all these different adventures, and you capitalize on these different storylines, trying to reach the end of these different campaigns. Lots of different campaigns, lots of different expansions in this Kickstarter version. Beautiful production. My wife and I have just played it 2 players so far, and we've played through just a number of hours of this game. I think the highlight of the game for us is the combat or battle mechanism when you're trying to fight against the various beasts you confront in this game. Really cool where you're putting these little cards together and you're having to do damage, and you're limited in how you can do damage. It's almost like this little puzzle in the way you do those battles. So I think that for us was the kind of such a unique little mechanism that made us love it. We enjoyed the story, we enjoyed the exploration, but that was kind of the thing that pushed it over the top to make it, wow, this is a really clever and unique game. So Sleeping Gods are number 5. Running out of space here. All right, now to number 4. Number 4 is by Lucky Duck Games, and this one is Destinies. And my wife and I really enjoy the storylines on this one as well. I've played it solo, and then she and I have also played it together. Only solo and 2 players so far, but we love the storylines in here, and we love exploring and try to fulfill your destiny. We like the app integration. It's pretty seamless, like the Fog of War style of how the map lays out for each individual story. And I've actually gone through a couple of the stories multiple times, both solo and with my wife. So I'll play with my wife and kind of do the competition part. And then I like to go back in solo and just explore and kind of dig around all through the different backstory and learn more and more about what's going on there and try different things. I tried once with the competitive solo. Didn't come close. That thing is brutally hard. I don't know if anyone could actually beat the timer on that one, but it was fun to try. But I just like going in sort of exploration mode and seeing how much I can learn about the story. So Destinies is our number 4 game of 2021. Number 3, I don't have the whole game because it's so massive. I just took the box cover off, but this is by Thunderworks Games, Role Player Adventures. Now I do love the whole role player world, the universe. I love cartographers. I love role player with monsters and minions and fiends and familiars. So this one was kind of a no-brainer in terms of expecting to enjoy it, but it actually superseded our expectations. We were really surprised at how easy it was to get in. When you see how much is in this box, it was harder to get it all organized and understand what everything was than it was to actually play. Once we got it ready to go, and if you're curious, you can check out my reboxing video. I think that was actually pretty helpful for us just to get it all organized. But once we got it going, it's actually pretty easy to learn and very easy to play. We've gone through many, many chapters of the stories in this. We're really looking forward to finishing out all 10 chapters, plus the side quests. We also have that Nephris's Judgment expansion that tells the backstories of our characters, and we've been enjoying that. It's kind of a smaller part of the game, but we've been enjoying that as well. So Role Player Adventures, our number 3 game of 2021, just a great one that we've really loved and are looking forward to more and more plays of. All right, and now the top 2. Number 2 I've seen on a bunch of people's lists this year, and this is Cascadia by Randy Flynn. It's by AEG and Flat Out Games. Cascadia is beautiful. It was my most played game in 2021. I think I played it 50 times or so. Now, not all with the actual board game because it was a Kickstarter that just arrived this year, but while I was waiting for it to arrive, I played the solo version online with a GitHub port that they had put on just a free opportunity to play. Probably played that more than half of those times, but since we've gotten it, we've enjoyed teaching it to other people, playing it solo, playing it with my wife. Just a beautiful game where you've got these tiles you're trying to place out, and preferably place them with different terrains that are adjacent. You're trying to build the largest terrains of each of the different styles, but they don't have to connect to like terrains because you're also drafting those tiles with a token that's got animals on it, and the animals can only be placed on certain tiles. So you're also trying to gain points by how you arrange those animals within your ecosystem. So really beautiful production, very simple to learn, but very puzzly. And I like both the online port if I just want to get a quick game in, a 5-minute game online, but it's also so much fun to play with the actual physical components. And being the Kickstarter version, there's extra different scoring cards and a family-friendly version, and even some kind of challenges at the end of the rulebook if you would like to pursue those. So lots included in this game. Such a beautiful one, such a fun one to play. Number 2 in our 2021 games of the year for our preferences, my list based on what me and my wife and our family have enjoyed. And now the number 1 game, the top game of 2021 for us, the one that we loved the most. It isn't the one we played the most because it does take a while to set up and it does take a while to play, but when we get it to the table, we absolutely love it. And it is After the Empire by Gray Fox Games. Now, this game is just gorgeous, and this is also the Kickstarter version. You are building up, you start with a fortress basically, but it's all made of wood, and you're constantly being attacked by invaders, and you don't know for sure which direction they're always coming from, so you're trying to put your army soldiers in certain places, and you go out and you try to hire mercenaries to help you battle off these invaders, and you got to make sure you can feed those soldiers that you have, and so it's a worker placement, but you're trying to upgrade your castle from wood to stone, and just so many things to think about. And such a clever system for me, the tower defense style, where you're not really fighting each other, you're kind of commonly fighting these sort of partially hidden invaders and you never know exactly where they're coming from, at least not entirely, and you don't know if they're going to bring ladders or if they're going to bring a catapult. And so there's all these different kinds of things to try to plan for, but you don't know exactly how to plan. And so there's a little bit of prediction and seeing if you can make a plan that's going to be flexible enough to handle them when they arrive. But After the Empire, I've played it solo. My wife and I have played it two-player a bunch. Just a terrific game, and my #1 game of 2021, After the Empire. All right, so there you go. Those are the top 10 games according to my preferences from 2021 of the 25 games that I was able to play this year. So I'm curious to see, put in the comments down below, have you played any of these games, and what do you think about them? Also, tell me, what is your top game of 2021? I'd love to hear from you in that down in the comments below as well. If you have any questions about any of these games, you can leave those questions down below and I'll be happy to answer them. And if you enjoy this video, it'd be great if you would give it a thumbs up down below, and I would love it if you'd choose to subscribe to the channel. As always, thanks for watching. This is Billy, Indiana, signing off.